Hello, this is Stephanie. Welcome to a dynamic flow where we are actually going to be integrating, putting together a small sequence of the prepping to this is squat flow. So this is going to incorporate mobility with yoga, functional dynamic movement. And feel free to come to this video, practice it a couple of times, so that over time you can really get the strength, the mobility of the appropriate muscles that you need. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, give some comments down below regarding the practice and your progress. And so we're going to start actually in our Vrindasana, or in our kneeling pose here. And you just draw your hands on top of your thighs, taking a deep breath in through the nose. And then opening up the mouth, nice loud audible exhale, side out, yawn it out. Take a moment as you breathe in to squeeze your calves, drawing the navel into spine, letting out any frustrations from the week today. Noticing the tops of your feet on the mat. And remembering that nothing actually lasts forever. So even if this pose tends to bring up some sort of discomfort, whatever time of day that you're doing this, just let the movements, let the energy flow out with the exhale. So we're going to slowly inhale, open up the gaze, breathe out through the nose. Shift your body forward, draw the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And as you tap the back of the feet behind you, up and down, making sure the eyes of the elbows and your forearms are facing forward, spinning forward. And then I invite you to tuck your toes, prepping up for the feet. Engage your navel and the spine and squeeze your glutes. Drawing your navel in and then shifting back. Slight bend in the elbows, gazing in between the palms. Inhale, shifting forward. Breathing out. Noticing all 10 toes spreading, creating space, and seeing if you can also draw awareness to the balls of the feet. So here, holding here, back behind, 3, 2, 1. Navel and spine. Slowly draw your hands on top of your thighs, shoulders over hips. Roll the shoulders away from the ears and down the spine. Making sure that navel and the spine is still engaged. And then find a space here just to nestle in, settle in, breathing in. And breathing out. Inhaling. And exhale. One more breath. And shift forward, hands were stacking underneath the shoulders, releasing the tops of the feet. And just move through the ankles, circling through, opening and closing the toes. And we're going to come back into it. So tucking the toes, goddess pose, hands to thighs, shoulders over hips, breathing in, finding stillness with the body. Try to engage the balls of the feet so that you can find a lift, energy down, navel in. And also don't make it be about forcing something, but more of like an equal balance. And breathing out, hands underneath the shoulders. So you're going to go back into releasing the tops of feet, moving through the toes. And just take a moment to extend that right leg out to the side. So right foot aligned with that left knee. Shift the hips back. And now shifting forward, here in this pose, I invite you to draw awareness to the inner thigh. And also as you pull back on the exhale, the glutes of the left. We create space. We allow the body to warm up, feel safe with mobility, functional movement, so that I can actually find that place of hold. And so holding back. Remembering to draw that navel in, lengthening through the spine. Inhale, shift forward. Sliding right foot to right hand. You're going to come into a lunge. So feet are hip width. Knee over that ankle. And then shifting back, stretching out that hamstring. You can either keep the foot flat or toes pulled back. Hands framing the right leg. Underneath the shoulders. Tuck the right hip joint back into the socket. Breathing in. And breathing out. One more breath. Shifting forward. Left hand underneath that right shoulder. Sorry, left shoulder. Right arm high to the sky. And then opening up through the chest. Hand comes behind the base of the skull of the head. Occiput. And exhale, close it through. Inhale, open up through the chest. Gaze high. Breathing out. Inhaling. And exhale. Hand underneath you. Slowly, using the sternum, press the heart forward, lifting up through the throat, the chin. Neutral gaze. Pressing down the back of the palms. Tuck your back toes. Lift through that back knee. You can step it back to down dog. Pedal out the feet. So in walking the dog, you're lifting through the heels, alternating left to right as you bend through. You're going to shift the body into a high plank. Draw your knees down. Restacking body to tabletop position. And so here, you're going to extend your left leg. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to demonstrate from the side so you can see it. So my left leg is extended this time. Left foot aligned with that right knee. Shift the hips back. You can untuck the back toes. You can tuck them. So as you shift forward, shoulders or wrists. Draw awareness to that left inner thigh. Think about when you're doing mobility, it's more about like activation of the muscles, engagement. So you're trying to activate and really contract also the inner thigh. Holding back, you can stack hands underneath the shoulders if you'd like, slight bend in the elbows. See how can you draw the shoulders away from the ears? Inhaling, shifting forward. Whoo. If you'd like, try the goddess toes, tuck the back toes. Holding back. This time, you're going to slide that left leg where that left hand is. Feet are hip width in a low lunge. And then I came out of it, so I'm going to come back down. Hands underneath the shoulders. Straighten through that left leg. Foot is down or foot flex. Left hip tucks back. Hands underneath the shoulders, framing the left leg. Breathing in. Stretch through that left hamstring. Taking those deep breaths too. Breathing out. Activating that right thigh. Inhale, shifting forward. Right hand underneath that shoulder. Left arm high to the sky. Opening up through that chest. Gaze at your hand. Exhale, hand behind the head. Breathing out. Elbow down. So what you're doing here is you're opening up through the spine. Inhaling and breathing out. On the last one, left hand down, hands underneath the shoulders. So shifting that right hip flexor forward, left knee over ankle, lifting up through the throat, the chin, the nose. Breathing out, maybe gaze neutral. Squeeze your left thigh. And then exhale, hands underneath you, tuck your back toes, left foot slides back into your high plank. And then shift it back down to down dog. And I'm just going to move myself around. Pedal out the feet. Whew, all right. And start slowly as you take a deep breath in and out. Bringing the legs to stillness. Inhale, gaze up the hands. Step through, feet hip width. Either hands to the floor, shin, or top of the thighs, halfway left. Drawing the shoulders away, navel on the spine, tucking out of the pelvic floor. Breathing out, deep bend in the knees, hands behind the hamstrings, maybe grabbing opposite forearms, tailbone high. Think about lengthening through hamstrings. Inhale, returning to halfway lift. Take a moment to bend the knees, hips back, kind of like a low squat. Lift up through your heels, left and right. Breathing in. So this is just like kind of prepping your thighs, your balance here on the balls of the feet for when you do hit the pistol squat. A little more deep breath. Exhale, release. Hands underneath the shoulders. Lift up through that left heel, right heel grounded. And exhale, alternate left to right. Pedaling out the feet. You notice as you pedal out your feet, you have to bend your knees. Notice maybe thighs grazing the core. Exhale, big sweep up. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands behind the occiput, base skull the head, elbows out, lean back, head against the palms, palms against the hand. Slight bend in the knees, hips forward, tailbone down. Inhaling. And exhale. So coming back to this mobility, now you're in a standing position. So bend the knees, hips back, Utkatasana, arms high, paddle at the feet again. Really want you to find the balls of your feet. So you're lifting up through your heels. Maybe hands to heart for focus. And then I invite you to shift the weight over to your right leg, left knee to chest. So you can stay here, work on the balance of the standing leg, slight bend. Notice that the right inner edge of that foot is rooted. Sometimes I see the tendency to open up, but you want all four corners of the foot suction down into the earth. So hands can be to hips, hand to shin, and then you're gonna slight draw the ankle left side over the right thigh, hips back, heart forward. Ooh, activate that right side and left hip opening. Find somewhere to focus on top of the mat, hand to heart, out in front of the wall. You can stay here and you're working on the like flexion of that ankle, right? You're being gentle, stability. Or left hand returning to the shin, knee to chest standing, or hand, left hand outside the outer edge of that left foot. Ooh, take a deep breath in, knee to chest. And then extend it. Left hamstring. Rooting through, lengthening the spine, engaging through the bicep, pulling back. Another deep breath. Exhale, slowly bend the knee, hips back. If this is where you are, that's fine. Work with where you are. Kick the energy through that left heel, hand to heart. Find stability. Find lift. For fun, exhale, roll back. Right knee to chest, left leg extended. Whew. We're going to find ourselves on the ground and finding your sit bones. Open up your legs. Shake it out. Take a deep breath in through the nose, sweep the arm side. Draw that left sole of the foot inside the inner thigh. So squaring your heart over your right knee, your heels down, toes up, arms sweep up. Exhale, hinge. So hands are on the foot, the calf, the shin. If you're not that far, you can reach hands to the top of the thighs or outside your hips, elbows bend, and bow down. Tune into that right hamstring. That was the leg that was standing. I also had, maybe point your toes, because you literally had to really work on that flexion of the ankle to hold you in that squat. Whew. And inhale, lift up. And so you're facing the top end of your mat. I'm just going to realign here. So coming through, left ankle right, pull your feet through or find your own creative way to come onto your tabletop position. Then you're going to tuck your toes, step it back, down dog, find 2 breaths. Pedaling out the feet. Inhale, walk feet to hands, hip width. Exhale, deep bend, fold. Engage your glutes here. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart. Knees bent, hips back. Utkatasana, fiery chair pose. Work on activating those balls of feet. And find the sensation of the feet flat as they touch the earth. This time, as you come into standing, you straightening through the legs. Exhale, hands to heart. Shift the weight over towards your left leg. You're going to draw right knee to chest. So I'll face this way now. You can hold it in and just engage on the balancing of the standing leg. Really draw navel in the spine. Exhale the energy into your center core. Your heart is lifted. Slight bend in that left knee. Right ankle over thigh, hips back, heart forward, hands to heart. Find somewhere to focus. And for 3. 2. And smiling. And either you come into standing, right hand around the shin, or right hand outside the outer edge of that foot, left hand hip, navel in the spine. Lengthen and hug in. Find balance. Exhale, hamstring. Pulling back with that right shoulder. And then beginning to slowly bend that left knee. Maybe you're just working here. Begin to practice energy through the heel. Maybe you shift forward and notice that left hamstring. Hand to heart, hips back. You have a counterbalance between front and back body. And then exhale, roll back. I have something behind you so I can't necessarily do that. But left knee in, right leg extended, roll forward and back. Landing on the sit bones. Open up the legs. Open V, shake out the thighs. And then exhale, right sole of the foot inside the inner left thigh. Scoring your heart over that left knee. Foot flex, heel down. Exhale, hinging through. Hands wrap around the foot. Calf, shin. Maybe hands to thighs. Plugging that left femur, thigh bone into the hip socket. Breathe into that left hamstring. Point your toes and flex them back. All right, so we're going to go into the last one from the floor up. And you lift up. Floor up is a little bit easier because you have less movement to go through, but at this point you're probably like warmed up, right? So spin your body forward, finding tabletop position. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, tuck the toes. You're going to take a moment to inhale, gaze at the hands, step up, keep a low squat. Hands underneath the shoulders. Shift the weight over to the left side of the body. We're going to stretch it out. So as you come down, hands underneath you, right knee to chest, hug in, foot flex, heel to glute. Activate that left thigh, lengthening the spine. Inhale, right foot comes forward in front of you, right hand to foot. And then now you're here. Find your focus. Lift up through the arch of the left foot. And exhale. You can rock forward and back or gracefully land on the floor. I'm going to switch it back through. So shifting your body over to tabletop. Exhale, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Tuck the toes, down dog. Inhale, gaze at the hands. Step through, feet hip width, knees bent, hips back. Shift the weight over to the right side of the body this time. And I'll show you here. Knee to chest, left foot kicked behind you, foot flexed. Activate that right thigh. Extending through left leg. Finding a lift. And release. All right, so just to finish it out, you're gonna come onto your spine, hugging that right knee into chest, hands around the shins and roll through the ankles. You literally worked out your ankles, your toes, your hamstrings. So you're gonna extend that right leg high to the sky, hands around the hamstring, and just slight bend in that right knee, shoulders down to the earth. You're gonna point and flex your toes. And just really stretching out, heel to sky. Taking those nice deep breaths. And slowly releasing, switching it out. Left knee to chest, hands around the shins. Keeping the foot flexed, circle through the ankle, shoulders back and down. Grounding through that extended leg. And then draw it high, hands behind the hamstring. Point, toe, flex your toes. Ooh. You guys did great today, and the more you practice, the more your body will gain the strength, the mobility, that dynamic muscle memory. And just really holding in, maybe thigh closer to the chest, heart. Exhale, slowly release that leg. Sweep the arms overhead, shake it up. And if you want at this time, you can separate your feet hip width, arms sweep beside you. Coming to your Savasana.